And good Tuesday morning. It is the Chip Matthews Show on WYAB. We're going to play school choice this morning. So class is in. We're going to learn something today. We're going to see if we can do things. Something I learned yesterday is currently there is no bill on school choice.
There is nothing out there.
Nothing is out there. So that means that when they're talking about having a special session, this is everybody's gathering their information to where you can have a special session, which at this point I'd say they don't need the special session. They need to get educated.
Yes. And that's why we're here, right, Chip?
Right. And you are Leah Ferretti.
I am Leah Ferretti, the director of Mississippi Ready.
Of course, Fred Sramy's here with me.
Good morning.
Okay.
The legendary Fred Sramy.
And then, of course, Jamie Creel, who was with us last week, which our show had a little over 192,000 views.
Woo, Jamie.
Where these are people going back and after we're off the air, and they're trying to get educated on what's going on.
All right. Well, I am so blessed and so grateful to be in the presence of so many icons here. So thank y'all for having me today.
You're welcome. So now that we know that I didn't know there wasn't legislation that already existed. I wasn't aware of that. So now I understand that. That's part one. Then my other thing is, do both of y'all support prayer in school?
100%.
Always.
That's why I only bring that up because Trump brought it up.
And we may disagree on a few things, but there's probably a lot of things fundamentally that we will agree on.
Okay. So let's get into it. So, Leah, your standpoint on all of this, you're pro school choice.
All day, every day, and twice on Sunday.
Explain why.
Okay. So if you're not familiar with my story, school choice is personal for my family.
Okay.
Our journey began about 10 years ago when I didn't have a choice.
Right.
I was a public school educator. Our son was in a good public school at the age of 5. We held him back in kindergarten, not really knowing what was going on with him.
Right.
And in a lot of cases, educators' hands are tied. They really can't tell you a whole lot, right?
Right.
But I was friends with his kindergarten teacher, and she kind of pulled me to the sides like, Leah, you want to get something done. You need to go have him comprehensively evaluated. Something's going on. So we took off 2 days of work, spent about $2,400 out of pocket at Connections in Hattiesburg, had him comprehensively evaluated, came back. My son Thomas is dyslexic.
Right.
Obviously, with that comes anxiety, speech articulation, ADD, all the things that come with the gloriousness of dyslexia. So we got his diagnosis, brought it back to the school, assuming that they would service him, right? Because we knew that he needed Orton Gillingham based dyslexia therapy. Well, they're like, Miss Ferretti, sorry, we can't service him, and you're going to have to go to another school. Because in the 30 years that this school has been in commencement, a special education teacher has never been here.
Okay.
Well, I wasn't okay with that. I wasn't. That's not right.
Right.
So we, fought, pushed. Finally, they gave him an IEP. Finally, after 30 years, a special education teacher darkened those doorways to service my child, not in the full capacity that he needed. So really trying to figure out what we needed to do in the Mississippi Delta, not a whole lot of resources. As a teacher myself, I went back to school to get my master's in dyslexia therapy. So it's either get a student loan, go back to school. I don't know if you're familiar with tuition at MC. It's not cheap by any measure.
No.
Or uproot my family and move to Petal, to 3D school that services children with dyslexia. So I applied for the ESA, the Education Savings Account or Education Scholarship Account, whatever your flavor is,
Right.
ESA. We got it, and that allowed us to pull him, put him in a smaller private school. We sent him to Bioacademy, and they only offered me flexibility. They allowed me to come in and service my child during the school day. If you've ever tried to do spelling words or sight words with a 6-year-old dyslexic, I'd rather go serve overseas because it's a nightmare, absolute nightmare. So gave him dyslexia therapy in a smaller private school, utilizing ESA. That's school choice. That's true education freedom. Right. And, God blessed me along the way and gave me 2 other children with dyslexia. And I do like to joke a little bit because usually things come from daddies. All bad things come from daddy's now. So my husband's dyslexic. And when we were in school, we didn't know what that was, right? You know, usually that's the behavior problem or you're not trying hard enough. Well, we know so much more now, and that's not the case. So 2 out of my 3 children received an ESA because they qualified for it. They were both in a public school. They both had an IEP for over a year, and that allowed us to apply for $6,500 at that time, 10 years ago,
Right.
to utilize and customize its education how we see fit. And as an educator, I knew the space of education. I knew how to navigate that. And that's where my journey began with advocacy and advocating for school choice because it worked for my family. And not only my family, because of going through this, no one was holding my hand. No one was guiding us through this. I promise you, MDE was not telling my family what we needed to do. Mississippi Ready was born. So Mississippi Ready is my nonprofit organization that we launched last year as a platform to inform families what school choice is, because a lot of people don't know what it is. And there's a lot of false narratives out there,
Right.
how to navigate it and what it could and should look like in our state.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah.
Now, my question to you, I got another question that, because I've noticed some of y'all stuff, who y'all fund yourself? Or you privately donated to, or how is that?
I am a division of Empower Mississippi.
Okay.
I've been an advocate for Empower for over a decade. When going through this journey, there were no other organizations at that time that
Right.
gave families a platform and supported them in
Because
choice.
see, I'm trying to figure out the sides. Because when I was talking with some legislators yesterday, there's actually 3 sides to the way they look at it. There's
Okay.
the people that want the choice, people that don't want the choice, and people that want nothing to happen.
Yeah. Well, you know what? And that's the beauty of choice. If you don't want choice and if you don't want to utilize it, great. Consider yourself lucky. Consider yourself blessed, because if you are not in a situation where you need a choice, you're pretty daggum lucky. So
Okay.
you need to count your stars.
Okay. Well, before we go further, Jamie, you tell me the other side of this.
So let me,
And this has
Right.
to be the short version because we
I-
got to take a break.
I understand.
Okay.
So I too have a son who's autistic. So I get exactly what you're saying. The dyslexia component. Here's the unfortunate circumstances with dyslexia. There are very few school districts in Mississippi that will even recognize that it is an issue. It is an issue. Dyslexia, dyscalculia, all of those things are an issue as far as helping kids learn.
Right.
Okay. We're going to have some fundamental differences,
Right.
Leah and I, but we're going to be friends when it's over. We
Yes.
just realized our connection, prior to, I mean, her husband was actually a student where I taught school back in the late 90s, which is crazy. But that's how it is in Mississippi, right?
Everybody knows everybody.
The questions that I have with school choice, I'm on several, committees with the Mississippi Department of Education, and it's not a perfect science.
Right.
And, but there are some questions. I'm all for a school choice that helps kids that are disadvantaged in that sense to get the education that they need. I know that there are plenty of public schools out there that do not recognize dyslexia, that have zero resources.
And when you say that, you're saying that the superintendents of those school districts don't recognize?
So
Is that the way that works?
Here's the way it happens, Chip. So they don't have the manpower or the training, okay, to deal with it. And so in turn, they say, we don't recognize it. And that's what's happening.
And that's insane because it's all our money.
It
And
is.
this one guy, it seems to me, and this is what I said to the legislators yesterday that I was speaking to. I said, it seems to me like you need to blow the whole system up and put it back together again and regulate some things from the legislatively where it would work better.
So on a school district standpoint, let's talk
go
about
ahead.
it from a school district standpoint. Okay. So let's say you have kid number 1 with dyslexia. You say all 3 of yours had dyslexia.
Every one of
Okay.
them.
So all 3 of them. All right. The chances at a smaller school district of you having 10, 15 kids with dyslexia is pretty low.
Right.
Okay. So what they're having to do from that educator standpoint, they're having to allot a full teacher unit Okay. It becomes dollars and cents at that point, right? Because you're giving a full teacher, you got to have somebody that's highly certified, probably going to come in making 45, 50,000. And a lot of these schools that are underfunded anyway do not have the teacher units to give the needs and services of what kids with dyslexia. That's why they don't recognize it. Does that make sense, Leah?
Yes and no. I mean, actually, it's 20% of your population. So when you're looking at numbers, 1 in 5 students have dyslexia. So even in a classroom of 20,
or some form of
it, So, and that satisfies a teacher unit. So,
I agree with that. I didn't realize it's that high.
We give speech therapy. We give ABA therapy. We don't give dyslexia therapy. And in the state of Mississippi, we have over 300 licensed dyslexia therapists. And we are so fortunate because we are one of the only states that have two universities, Mississippi College and William Carey. And Hattiesburg has the DeBard School as well. So 3 that offer dyslexia therapy training for educators. But what we're seeing is that your private schools are the ones hiring these teachers, and the private schools are the ones that are creating this program and in turn providing the service at a smaller price point as well.
I got you. Okay, we're going to take a quick break and we're going to be back because it seems like we're going in the right direction.
Yeah.
I'm real good with this. It feels good. I'll be back with more right here on the Chip Matthews Show, and we're talking school choice and what's going to happen with all that right here. It feels good. Right after this on WYAB. I'll be back with more right here on the Chip Matthews Show, and we're talking school choice and what's going to happen with all that right here. Right after this on WYAB.
1039 WYAB.
B-Dubs cocktails, pretzel knots, and mozzarella sticks. It's all on me today.
Oh, so you're happy hour rich when the happy hour menu is only $3 to $6 from 3 to 6 p.m.
$3 to $6? That's crazy.
You know we're at happy hour right now from 3 to 6 p.m.
It's happy hour crazy.
We were here yesterday too.
Crazy.
Quit playing. I'm gonna let you pay though.
Food, beer, and cocktails for $3 to $6 from 3 to 6 p.m. Buffalo Wild Wings for the greatest of all times. Monday through Friday only. Beer deals available all day at participating locations. Taxes and fees apply. Dine in only. Drink responsibly. Offers vary by location. Void where prohibited.
ABS causes mass hysteria by providing office tech that actually does its job.
Relax. At Advantage Business Systems, we know office technology isn't that exciting, but we do know it is life-changing. Work-life-changing, that is. Because the latest copiers, printers, mailing machines, and even telephone systems can keep your office running smoothly. Visit absms.com. Advantage Business Systems, helping your business do business.
If you want the best health care, where do you go? The Mayo Clinic. If you want the best care for your vehicle, where do you go? Mayo Auto Clinic in Raymond. Mayo Auto Clinic does foreign and domestic vehicles and diesel repair. Mayo Auto Clinic has ASE certified techs with over 25 years of experience. You can extend the life of your car or truck when you take it to Mayo Auto Clinic. For cost-effective repairs and maintenance, go to the best, Mayo Auto Clinic. Open weekdays at 7 a.m. Highway 18 in Raymond.
Delicious food and a relaxing atmosphere combine to make the best place for sports fans and foodie fans to watch the game and just hang out. Capitol Grill of Jackson. Of course they've got the games, but food, oh my goodness. Mouth-watering po' boys, fish, steaks, appetizers, and a specialty pizza menu. Kitchen opens at 5 Monday through Thursday and 11 Friday through Sunday. And happy hours are daily at Capitol Grill. Also enjoy the all-new Tuesday night and karaoke on Wednesday and Friday nights from 8 till midnight with DJ Money Mon. Capitol Grill, DeVille Plaza in Jackson.
What are people saying about Tom's Fried Pies in Richland?
Tom's Fried Pies. And I made the mistake. I ordered one pie. I figured, you know what? I'll try Tex-Mex. It was so good. Man, second go around, I ate the pecan pie. You will need a meat pie and a dessert one. Get both because they are off the hook.
I went to Tom's Fried Pies today, and I'm going back. I tried the taco one. Really good. When I go back, I'll bring some home.
Tom'sFriedPies.com.
I am Wayne Lloyd, Delta Farm Services, LLC. We do all types of dirt work, excavation, dozer work, land leveling. We do building pads, commercial ponds and lakes, residential ponds and lakes, anything with dirt work. You can reach me at 662-528-0826. 662-528-0826. Delta Farm Services, LLC.
Social Security belongs to you. You work hard and pay into it. So it's only fair for you to expect to get the money you've earned to help cover living expenses and bills, and not for politicians to use as a piggy bank. That's why AARP is fighting to protect your Social Security so you get what you've earned. Learn more at aarp.org/youearnedit. That's aarp.org/youearnedit. Paid for by AARP.
Welcome back to the Chip Matthews Show, and here's your host, Chip Matthews.
I am Chip Matthews. We're back here on the Chip Matthews Show on WYAB. We're talking school choice. I got Fred Cerami right here beside me, and I've got Leah Ferretti, and we got it is Ferretti.
It is Ferretti. Good job,
sure I'm saying
Ferretti.
it right. And then whatever your name
Yeah,
is, Jamie Crew.
That's right.
Here with us. Now, that's Italian, right? Ferretti?
Yes, I am not Italian, but my husband is a Delta
Okay,
Italian.
just helping you out, Fred. Okay.
Help me,
Huh? I should have
I
asked
know,
you.
I know where I'm going.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So we were talking about the school, the part of school choice, which has to do with special needs and people
Correct.
that need help. Now, Fred had a different situation with AJ, which is his child. And I want Fred to talk about
AJ was at Hudspeth Regional
Get
Center.
up on the mic.
AJ was with Hudspeth Regional Center, okay, for 10 years. And I took him out, and he went to public school system. He had an education until he was 21 years old. But I wasn't offered. He was a special ed class. But as far as training, AJ had nothing. I had no advocacy to help me. I didn't know where to go with it. And to this day, where's our advocacy help for autism in the state of Mississippi? Where do I go with it?
Do any y'all have any answers to that?
So yeah, so
Okay.
that is the direction that Mississippi Ready is going, is to be that resource for families, because like I told you earlier, there was no one holding my family's hand
Right.
on where to go and what to do. And I haven't told y'all this yet, but my sister's daughter, who's 3 years old, is just diagnosed with autism.
Right.
And we have been going through a journey these past few weeks on getting her in the right place where she needs to be for her abilities and disabilities.
Right. What'd you find? Where's she going?
Well, she has a sister who knows the education space, because you don't know what you don't know, right? And
Right.
navigating education is difficult if you're not in that space. And she's a single mom, and her child was at early Head Start, and she just assumed that you're in Head Start. Well, her daughter graduated from early Head Start, and she didn't hear back from when school was going to start. So she called the school and was like, hey, when the school's starting, haven't heard anything. Oh, well, you've got to be back on the list, and you're at the bottom because you make too much money. She's a single mother, an X-ray tech in the Delta. They said she makes too much money. Well, that didn't sound
That's
right to
wrong.
me. And
That's wrong.
Well, it is wrong. They gave her wrong information because her child has a diagnosed disability and she has an IEP with the local school district. They have to move her to the top and they have to service her. So guess what? Her daughter will be starting school next Monday.
her.
So
That's
yay.
great.
That's good.
That's
Okay,
great.
So
Okay.
who's the person that looks at you and says that you got to put the kid on the bottom?
Who's the person?
I mean, who in the hierarchy of things?
I think it was someone who really didn't know what they were telling, giving her that information.
And that came out of like a superintendent's office.
No, it was a Head Start office.
Okay.
So Head Start is a separate entity because that's federally funded from local school districts. But the local school district services her because of the Child Find Act. All children ages minimum 3 years old are the responsibility of a district to service them. And a lot of people don't realize that if your child's even in daycare or private school, that they don't necessarily have to be in public school, but you do have the right to be serviced.
Okay. So
one of the biggest issues, Chip, and I'm going to agree with everything that's
Yeah.
being said here. One of the biggest issues facing Mississippi public school education today is the lack of certified people who know what to do in the special ed components.
Agreed.
It is as dispersed and thin when it comes to that. I mean, people are having to go back and get recertified just to get a degree to be certified in that spot because of the accountability model. But I'm telling you that we are very, very thin. And like you was talking about, AJ, Fred, the situation, SPED kids are able to be transported across district lines now based on need. And the problem is when you go into these IEP meetings with these principals and teachers, a lot of these parents do not have an advocate, or they are very uninformed. So they don't know what their legalities are.
I was very uninformed.
Yeah.
I didn't know where to go.
Right. And so all you're doing when you're going into an IEP meeting, and Leah will agree with this, when you go into an IEP meeting, you're just taking that these are the professionals and they're doing what's in the best interest of my children. And it really doesn't work that way. I've said time and time again, I have an autistic child. I had to make a decision. Our decision was we're going to stay where we are at a small county school, very small population, to where he wouldn't get made fun of for being the person that he is, without the sexual pressure, without the alcohol pressures, because, they have my son has a very addictive personality. Okay. And I didn't want him succumbing to alcohol or drugs. So we kept it in a small, that's why I choose to go and live where I live and choose to go to the school that we go to. They protect him, and that's worth a lot for me. And I was talking to Leah, you guys probably don't know this. We're actually going to orientation for the Mississippi State Access Program, which
You're
is
wearing the wrong shirt, Jamie.
I understand. Well, I'll never ring a cowbell. All my in-laws, my brother-in-law played Mississippi State. I have zero against Mississippi State. But when my son, when we go up there, if it's a good fit, I hope they only take 10 per cohort, and we're hoping we have a good experience. Hopefully we can get in there, but it's unlike any program in the state of Mississippi. These autistic kids go there and they're housed there just like regular college students. They have mentors. And so I'm really looking forward to that. But going back to what it is, but back to what you said, there's such a lack of resources on the special ed component. The Mississippi Department of Education, the whole public school system needs to be revamped in this in the special needs area 100%.
Let me ask you this, and we were going from school choice, and we're basically on special needs.
Yeah.
My question to you is this: would it be easier, like I always believe that the system needs to, we need to consolidate, we need to get smaller, we need to get rid of a lot of these superintendents. But if we could get down to where there was a zone, would you fix it to where there would be a zone? Like, would you have 6 or 8? Like 2, 4, 6, 8 zones that you could make sure that special needs students could be treated in?
So here's the thing, Chip, and I repeat this over and over until it finally gets in somebody's head.
Right.
You cannot fix any parameter in education, whether it's special education, whether it's it doesn't matter.
Right.
Until you fix the teacher shortage. We are 3,000 teachers short in Mississippi right now. So the average teacher can take on 150 students. All right. So 150 times 3,000 is 450,000. Then you divide that by the 6 classrooms. You're roughly short 70 something thousand kids are being shorted a quality of education.
How many people get promoted up because of their, let's say, for instance, you've got more people that aren't really, they're working in the school system, but they're teachers, but they're in the administrative level, and they just want to get promoted up. Are there people there that would be, if you bumped down and didn't give all the money to administrations, would that bump it down?
Jamie will agree, like with administration, like that is a goal of education. Like to make more money, you've got to climb that corporate ladder of education, and you want to get in that central office because that's the ultimate goal, right? And I do think we need to do a better job of keeping our teachers in the classroom.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
And supporting them. I've taught in a school district where we didn't have toilet paper in our class in our bathrooms. Our principal had to go to Dollar General and buy toilet paper so our children could have the decency to wipe themselves.
The teachers had to do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And copy paper. We didn't. I mean,
teachers have to do that a lot of times.
And see, what I see is we have plenty of money in education. It's just like in politics. Starting, in case you didn't know, the people have more power than the governor.
Amen.
In case you didn't know, because it goes people to the city, to the county, to the congressional district, to the state.
Yeah.
So if school systems were blown up and you redid it to where it goes to the student, it goes to the teacher, goes to the principal, but backtrack it into it. And then you need less at the top because you need to get rid of some of those people. I mean, that's my way of looking at it. And that's the way I try to explain it. And then, like, for instance, in Madison County, if you want to just take Madison County, for instance, you've got in where Gluckstadt is. Gluckstadt was built because Madison Central was full.
Correct.
Okay. You're building so many houses on what is that road? Yandle Road, that you need to build another school because the supervisors don't care. They just they're getting paid off by whoever's paying them off, and they want these neighborhoods. Although the people, 200, 300, 400 people went before them and said, look, before you do that, we need to, one, widen the road where to be safe to get there, and two, we need to talk about a school because all the schools are full. So nobody's thinking. And so there needs to be some kind of law put in place by the legislators that say, okay, when this community is being built, the supervisors and the school district have to build a new school for a district.
That's going to happen. Let me say this about the teacher shortage again.
Yeah.
Okay. So 2,963 shortage of teachers in the classroom right now. Okay.
Right.
Now, are there certified teachers out there that can fill these spots? Yes, there are. Okay. Here's the problem. These certified teachers choose to be teachers' assistants in Madison, Rankin, on the coast, Lamar County, DeSoto County, okay, where they could actually, instead of going like to the Mississippi Delta and becoming an impactful teacher, they choose to stay in the comforts of their society, okay, and get paid less, hoping something would open up. And so we've got to get these people into the workforce. We talked about Benny Thompson's district. That district is 2,000. There's 2,000 teacher shortage just in that congressional district and the district where you come from. And you can't do anything else with anything until we get those people, because if we do something that's going to best benefit Madison, Rankin, whatever, then we're leaving Bolivar. And
see, that's what I'm saying. One size does not fit all.
No,
in this
no,
state.
it does not.
And that is the beauty of education
move to
freedom.
the Delta if the money's not there for them. If they can't get their salary they want, they're not going to move up to Delta. Like you said, they'll go to the Gulf Coast, Hattiesburg, Petal, Mississippi, but
Give me Ocean Springs.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're going to take another break. We'll be back and talk some more right here on School Choice on WYA. Give me Ocean Springs.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're
quick,
going to take
Chip.
another break. We'll be back and talk some more right here on School Choice on WYA.
Keep it tuned here to 103.9 WYAB.
CBS News special report. Israel says it launched an airstrike targeting Hamas leadership in Qatar today, where black smoke rises over the Doha skyline. No word on casualties. The BBC's Paul Adams from Jerusalem.
This was a deliberate operation by the Israelis to take out the senior Hamas leadership. The Qataris, as you would imagine, are absolutely furious. They've called this reckless and a violation of international law.
They say they received no advance notice. CBS's Rami Inocencio.
We're getting from Israeli local media, citing an Israeli official, that President Trump gave the green light for an attack on the Hamas leadership in Qatar. This is coming again from local news media.
Prime Minister Netanyahu's office says the strike, named Summit of Fire, was a wholly Israeli operation and it takes full responsibility. U.S. Embassy issued a shelter-in-place order for Americans. CBS News special report. I'm Deborah Rod.
Acme Pizza and Daiquiris at Fannin Mart on the Res is quickly becoming Rankin County's go-to spot for pizza, burgers, pasta, appetizers, daiquiris, and more. Try their famous Wheel of Flavor pizza. You can add up to 3 different specialty pizzas onto one pie, such as the Margarita, Sergeant Pepperoni, Acme Beet Buster, Pig, Pesto Chicken, the Old Mexico, the Supreme, or hey, just build your own custom pizza. Acme also has a full bar with 9 different frozen daiquiris to choose from. Open daily at 4 p.m. Acme Pizza and Daiquiris.
Have you noticed all these people acting like the sky is falling? All this tariff talk has folks real nervous, but at iGear Optical, we've got you covered. Our prices remain solid on all our quality products, while all other shops are raising prices. We are not. Come get a great pair of eyeglasses, computer glasses, or sunglasses that fit you, your lifestyle, and your budget every day at iGear Optical, 2630 Highway 80 East in Pearl, and on the web at iGearOptical.com.
All
Albritton's Jewelers. When love requires a gift, nothing says it better than Albritton's. Since 1920, we've been part of your family. From weddings and anniversaries to holidays, we've been there for every special occasion. At Albritton's, we value your trust. Every gift, whether large or small, is a reflection of our commitment to quality and excellence. There's a reason we're still Mississippi's foremost diamond merchant. Let us show you why. Albritton's Jewelry, 4460 Old Canton Road in Jackson. Albritton's Jewelers.
Nick Bain served Mississippi for over a decade in the State House. During that time, he fought for our children by protecting them against explicit materials pushed by the woke agenda. He protected taxpayers by streamlining government and helped create policies that have made Mississippi better. Nick and his team at Bain Bowen will use the same tenacity in helping you with all your legal matters. Call them today at 601-953-2994. Find Nick online at bainbowen.com. That's BAIN Bowen.com.
Tired of the office grind? Ready to take a day and enjoy some time at the course? The Sanderson Farms Championship is back in Jackson. From September 29th to October 5th, come see the world's best professional golfers at Mississippi's only PGA Tour event. Whether you're a golf enthusiast or just looking for a fun day out, this event is for you. Visit SandersonFarmsChampionship.com for more information and to purchase your tickets. Take a day and join us at the Sanderson Farms Championship.
Welcome back to the Chip Matthews Show, and here is your host, Chip Matthews.
It is the greatest show on earth. It is the Chip Matthews Show right here on WYAB, heard all the way around the world and even in Japan on WYAB.com and on YouTube and Rumble and everything else in the world. So in this day and age, what ways can we educate kids that's different from the way we do it now?
Well, education has been in an industrialized model since the beginning of time, right? And it worked. It served that season of life and for all that time. But now, especially since COVID, we got to kind of pull the curtain back a little bit, and parents got to see really what was going on in the classroom. In Mississippi, we didn't shut down as long as the rest of the nation, so we were still educating children, but we got to see how education can be innovative.
Okay, so in school choice, if you're homeschooled, would that mean the money would follow you to the house?
Well, do you pay taxes?
Everybody pays taxes, except some people. The politicians probably don't. But I mean, I'm just trying to figure out in school choice where. Okay, and also in this, we're talking about it would go to the private schools, right? It would follow the money would follow the child.
So ultimately, the money follows the child, so it goes to the families who are accountable. So with the ESA, my family, we had to pay out of pocket for private school tuition and send in quarterly reports for reimbursement. So it's not like I didn't have any skin in the game. And on top of that, I am paying taxes.
Right.
I am paying property taxes. I am paying sales taxes. So I am paying for all of that.
You're paying for what you get.
Exactly.
I mean,
exactly. And an ESA allowed me to utilize funds that were in the general fund. It's not from public education. It's from the general fund. But it allowed me to use those funds that weren't servicing my children.
So ESA comes out of a different pile of money. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. But you still had money in the public school pile.
Yes. Yes.
But you don't get it.
The taxes and all.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because my mama didn't get any money back for trying to educate me. Or my brothers. And it didn't work for any of us.
Correct.
We're
So education does look different, and choice looks different for every family. For mine and Jamie's family, it looks like a public choice. I mean, there was a season in life that we were in a private school where an ESA served us best. And now all three of my kids are in Madison County schools. I mean, after we toured all the schools, we let our children have a choice, like have some buy-in, like, okay, where do you think? And I've already given them therapy, said they didn't need therapy anymore. And they're like, hey, go Mavericks. We're going to Germantown.
Okay, well, let's go a different route here. So school choice does not mean that you're going to school at Callaway and tomorrow morning you're going to go to Madison Central.
No, it does not.
Okay.
There's a lot of people that feel like
feel that
that
way.
is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that system does not work.
Right.
Okay.
At all.
No. So touching on what Leah said, okay, school is so outdated. Okay. That we're still running the schedule from the old farmer schedule back in the day. You know, they get out of school at a certain time in the summer so they could go help their dads in the farms. Okay. We're still on that freaking schedule in Mississippi.
Except for Clinton, right?
Well, there's several that have what's called, year round, where they get a couple weeks off every 9 weeks. And that is a good thing to me because it helps retention.
Right.
You know, when you lay a kid off for 2.5 months educationally, they tend to slip. They're sleeping more. They're staying up later. They're, a lot of things change. You take 2 to 3 weeks off every 9 weeks, and then you have the ability to retain, and the retention level goes up. And to me, the level of education goes up.
Right.
And that's what Clinton's doing. There's several other schools that are doing it too, other school districts. But what she's saying and what the question you asked, what are we going to do with JPS? Should kids be allowed to come out of failing school districts? Absolutely. They need to go somewhere. Okay.
Right.
We need to Canton.
Yeah.
JPS just here around us. We need to come up with a way to fix those.
Right.
And these educators that are in Madison, why wouldn't they go and make an impact there? And of course, we all know the answer. Safety's, and perception is going to be one of the deals.
Yes.
But tons of quality educators in those areas. Madison County and Rankin County both have $13,500 per pupil expenditures.
Right.
JPS doesn't have that.
Right. And I mean, and also Madison, and I don't see the people of Madison and Rankin County being for school choice because they want the status quo of what they currently have. Wouldn't you say?
I say some,
but
you said it right. The status quo of what you already have. But back to, if you don't want a choice, great.
Right.
But those who need a choice, allow them to have a choice.
Yes. But see, now when you get into special needs, then everybody should have a choice.
For sure.
Yeah,
for
I
sure.
agree. Yeah,
but when you're
100%.
looking at, when you look at like schools like
But-
JPS and special needs, you get extra federal funds. That's when title funds come into play. So there's really more per pupil expenditures
Title
in,
I, yeah.
in your lower performing schools or your rural schools, and for children with special needs, they're getting more money than what the state is allowing per pupil.
And seeing what I also see is when you start school choice, though, what is to keep a private school from building a new wing that would hold 1,000 people, just because when you start moving money around, greed comes in the factor.
It does.
Well,
Okay.
Agreed, but also free market economy, rising tide lifts all ships, right? So, I
Right.
mean, so competition improves all.
Well, but
And
it-
as my husband's a small business owner, and if he's not providing a service for his customers, then what's going to happen?
Well, let
right?
me say in Canton, and see Canton, if they wanted to, let's say, because of the way the district is built, if they wanted to bring in more money into their district, they'd go build another school in the district of Canton, right out by Lake Caroline,
Mhm.
and then they'd build another school out by on 43, out going toward the reservoir in their district, and then they could actually grow those areas, and people would move in, and it would work.
Well, but if people,
But
if they're not forced to, they don't have to.
But their greed does not let that happen because they're administratively there. That's a situation where, and that's the same in Jackson. They cannot come together on.
And I think we all ultimately agree on there's a whole lot of mess out there, right?
There's
There's a
a
whole lot
lot,
of mess in
yeah.
education.
Mhm.
And what is the answer? What is the magic bullet? What is the magic pill that fixes that? I think I don't have the one final answer. I think there's a lot of answers, but until then, and to get there, let parents have a choice. Let them be accountable for their children.
And get the money back to the kids. It's all about what can you get to the kids, not what can you get to the district.
Right.
But they're not. That people aren't thinking that.
Well, and we're looking at funding systems. We're looking at, all right, this is public education dollars. These are public tax dollars. We need to be funding children. And I think
Yes.
changing our funding formula last year was so beneficial because we didn't know how much we were spending. per child, which is a completely asinine. Like I have a budget, I have a family budget each
Right.
month, right? We all
Mhm.
do. I
Right.
mean, I don't know many people who don't. And you have to know what you're spending, when and where in order to survive and in order to function. And education wasn't that way for so long until last year when we finally know how much we are spending per student. And it gives you a bigger picture like, okay, well, why aren't teachers making more? Why is it more going to the classroom for supplies and material? Why isn't it going to my child?
Correct. Now, when y'all bust that down to one child, does that include the hierarchy money? When you bust down to how much money goes to a student, do you
So
include?
what you do is you
from-
take the amount of money that
from the superintendent down.
No, the amount of money that the state allots
Right.
for education based on the number of kids that are in the system.
Okay.
Okay. So logistically speaking, like you spoke about the homeschool child. Okay. If we're going to do some type of school choice, okay, logistically, there's a huge problem. Okay. Because here's the deal. Teachers have to turn in intent in February. Okay. So they have to turn intent that they're coming back to teach. So when is the period where you give a child that has to declare that they're going to another school? They're going to have to do it before the intent of the teacher, or they're going to be, ethics code violation number 10, which puts that teacher out for a year, which we do not want. So the transition into something like this logistically is a nightmare, because you could take someone like, let's take Velma Jackson, for
Okay.
example. Velma Jackson's a 1A, 2A school. Let's just say you had 400 kids that want to transfer out of Germantown and Madison to go play football at Velma Jackson. Well, number one, they don't have the teacher units to handle at Velma Jackson 400 more kids. And now Madison and Germantown are going to be overstaffed, and that's the waste of money. The logistics are going to have to be fine-tuned and worked out to even remotely do anything like this, because the declaration of a child leaving to be accepted and going to another district versus when the teachers have to have their intent letters turned in and signed is 4 months prior to when the year end is for that particular school, which is June.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with that. But right now we do have that in the state of Mississippi. So you can transfer to any district you want, but you have to have your home district to sign off on it and the receiving district to sign off on it. And a lot of times, more times than not, that home district is going to hold them hostage and not receive them. And districts, they can accept other students as is right now. And when we're looking at choice, the sky's not going to fall. People aren't just going to flood out of each school system. There are all parameters around that.
But the home district, they basically don't want the kid to leave because
Because of the money. Yeah.
It's about money.
Yeah.
But right now you're talking, Leah, about 1 to 10 kids. You open up these floodgates, you're looking at upwards of 200 to 400 possibly, and that's where the problem
You
is.
can see like a whole bunch of people
Yeah.
from Pearl decide they're going to go to Brandon.
Northwest Rankin,
Northwest Rankin.
absolutely. I mean, it's going to, what does that do to the MHSAA, which athletics is not the end all be all? What does that do to the districts? I mean, you're going to have to redraw districts every year on the Mississippi High School Activity Association.
Right.
And the funding dollars of when they receive it, like day one, if they open up school choice and allow private school kids to get monies back, it's going to cost the state of Mississippi $350 million day one to institute school choice.
I know, but name one state that has happened. Name one
Well,
state. that
I
the sky's
understand.
fallen.
Yeah,
And it hasn't. And,
right.
if the gates aren't going to open, people aren't going to go in droves. It's going to be a trickle. It's going to be a slow process. And we talked earlier, like there's a way that Mississippi is situated. We are situated so beautifully so that we can see other states that have done this and done it successfully. But we need to figure out a way that's going to work for us and for our state. And I think just saying, oh, you can go anywhere you want, anytime, anywhere. No, that's not the answer
Right.
at all.
Well, the thing that's going to be left behind, Leah, and I think you'll agree with this, is the Mississippi Delta. I mean, there's nowhere for a child in Issaquena County to go to a successful school district. I mean, they would have to drive over 90 miles to, that Yazoo City, which is in school takeover, Vicksburg Warren, which is a failing school district, and then South Delta.
I disagree because you're going to let the market dictate that. The market's going to have to innovate to be able to provide. So I think
Well,
you have
how would-
faith in people
Right.
and setting up micro schools, setting up charter schools, and allowing the market to to take care of itself.
Right. And so would the micro schools and charter schools be under the same accountability models as the public school education?
Well, accountability as to the parent, yeah.
No, I'm talking about
we're talking about the grade now.
No, you know, they're holding these schools, these public schools, to a higher standard. I mean, they you have to be certified. You know, in private school, you don't have to be certified. A lot of them. Okay, so you've got different parameters that are set up in private versus public. It's two different playing fields. You know, and you know, you've been a part of both. And so when you're dealing with that, how do you overcome that issue? Do you just take the accountability model off of everything? And like, you know, Trump's all for blowing up the federal Department of Education. I am too, because I think that puts more money back to the kids.
Yeah.
I'm all for blowing that up, but I think we need to focus on, you know, our districts that don't have right now and figure out what we're going to do with those kids before we, you know, move.
Well, when you're looking at accountability, yeah, like, so the state has norm reference testing, but, you know, private schools do norm reference testing as well. That's a requirement. And so if you're looking at accountability as far as testing, that's a whole nother conversation, a whole nother day. Well, yes, we are over tested. And that's
100%.
Another reason why we don't have teachers in the classroom, because they are having to teach to a test.
Correct.
And that is where they're measured upon, which is completely insane.
It is.
And then I learned through my talking with people yesterday that when they actually got rid of history as a part of the test, it kind of backfired on them, because that was where people tested the best, was history. And so it messed up. It means they got to do better in the other departments in order to get these kids through.
Well, you still have to pass all four, Chip. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's really, that doesn't, you know.
Well, I'm talking about the test score. As far as the score going up.
It does. So each test stands on its own.
Okay.
Okay. So, you know, the biology one, the algebra one, the English 2, and U.S. history, they all stand on, you know, you have to pass all four. You have to have a floating grade in your classroom. If you make lower and you have a 92 average, I mean, there's some floating scales, but each test basically stands on its own, but it does affect the pass, you know, fail of the student.
Okay.
You
Well,
know,
I thought it was, I'm talking about the pay rate for the teacher.
well, it affects the grade for the schools. And if
Okay.
they were very successful
Yeah.
with the high school, with the U.S. history, then it's going to lower their score when the 2025 ratings come out. That could, you know, or
Yeah.
2026, that could absolutely have an adverse effect.
Okay, I got to pay one more set of bills, and then we'll be back right here on the
Pace of
Chip
the
Matthews Show on WYAB.
Maybe the
Okay,
fastest
I got to
hour.
pay one more set of bills, and then we'll be back right here on the Chip Matthews Show on WYAB.
1039 WYAB.
Here's a word from John White, the owner of Two Gun Tactical in Flowood and Ridgeland.
I carry a gun every day, all the time. Last year in America, 2 million legal guns were pulled, and it stopped the threat. So I'm really wearing a firearm just to stop the threat. There's more likelihood of me just pulling it and not using it than there is using it. TwoGunTactical.com, TwoGunTactical.com.
Two Gun Tactical, the South's only country club.
Mississippi is back. That's right. The largest tattoo expo in the state returns to the fairgrounds at the Trademark Center September 12th through 14th. That's right. It's the third annual Kings and Queens of Ink Tattoo Expo. Join me, Clay Edwards, and my entire team as we'll be there all weekend for a celebration of tattoo culture like you've never seen before. Whether you're an artist, a collector, or simply a fan, this is an event you won't want to miss. It's the third annual Kings and Queens of Ink Tattoo Expo September 12th through 14th at the Trademarks.
Come see us at Planter Supply in Bentonia for precise fertilizer and seed recommendations from our experts Mike Bates and Walt Shepard. They have over 50 years of combined experience in the agronomic industry, and their knowledge and experience ensures your food plot will be the best that it can be. We carry a full line of summer, fall, and winter food plot seed and deliver it straight to your field in our fertilizer spreaders for your convenience. Come see us at Planter Supply in downtown Bentonia or give us a call at 662-755-8782.
Tri-County Tree Service, the Jackson Metro's premier company to handle all of your tree service needs. Russ Borland and his team specialize in large tree, low-impact removal. Tri-County Tree Service has the right equipment to safely handle the most technical trim jobs or tree removals. Storm damage can happen year-round, so let them clean it up and they'll deal with your insurance claim. Tri-County Tree Service. By phone at 601-TREE-GUY or online at tricotreeservice.com. That's tricotreeservice.com.
Pure Air Consultants has always been your go-to for reliable and affordable heating and cooling systems, and now we are offering day and night brand to avoid the 25 to 30% increases that everyone is talking about. With day and night, Pure Air Consultants professionals can install a reliable system with a 10-year system warranty, and right now receive $20 off on service diagnostic fees. Call us today, 601-939-7420. MyPureAirConsultants.com.
Here's John and Corey Ravenstein.
She is extraordinary, rare, and one of a kind. Shouldn't her diamond be as well?
At Juniker Jewelry Company, we only offer natural diamonds, genuine creations of nature, formed over 1 billion years ago, not lab-grown imitations.
They're rare, authentic, and one of a kind, just like her.
We are Mississippi's largest direct diamond importer of natural diamonds, every size, shape, and price range.
All at the guaranteed best price in the state.
And flexible financing options for qualified buyers to make it easy.
So giving her a gorgeous natural diamond that will become a true family heirloom from Juniker's, it's more affordable than you think.
Doesn't a one-of-a-kind love deserve a one-of-a-kind natural diamond?
Because she's not synthetic.
She's not a copy.
She's worth the real thing.
Real love, real diamonds, naturally at Juniker's.
Juniker Jewelry Company, Mississippi's direct diamond importer. 1485 Highland Colony Parkway, just south of 463 in Madison, and junikerjewelry.com.
Welcome back to the Chip Matthews Show, and here is your host, Chip Matthews.
Well, we're back here on the Chip Matthews Show here on WYAB. Landing the ship. We only got a few seconds here, a few minutes. Exactly 2 minutes.
Well,
So-
Chip, let me give a shameless plug in there. Go follow Mississippi Ready at MississippiReady.org. Sign up for our monthly newsletter to know what's going on in the state, the nation, and school choice. And also go find us on social media. Whatever your flavor is, I promise you, I'm on one of those outlets.
And we're going to have you back. And Jamie, we're going to have you back. I want to be.
This has been amazing.
I
This
would
has been
like for y'all to
wonderful.
come in as often as possible, and we're going to talk about it until we beat it to death. Like because the Senate and the House will go, "Oh, we're going to do it. We're going to do it," and then they don't even pass a budget. So,
well, here's the thing.
I had to get on to y'all for a second.
Hey, Chip, on this. So our legislators need to become more informed. That's the problem when you have an abundance of people that are being represented by people. And I'm not saying shame on anybody, but they need to be informed, from both sides to make a logical decision.
Well, from what I can tell, they're trying to find out because someone called even me to find out, and I'm an idiot and don't know anything. But I said, if y'all listen to the show today, you might get educated. I don't know if we've educated, but we're getting there. So thank y'all for being here. We're going to have you back, and we're out of here.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Chip.
Thank you.